So this is the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra. There were a lot of improvements going to the S10 Ultra from the S9 Ultra that surprised me a lot, and I think more so because they were improvements that Samsung never even talked about. There were things that you really would only notice if you were actively using this on a day-to-day basis. And those were improvements that for me, as someone who used this actively, was really happy about. Now, for full context, right, I actually started off my tablet journey with an iPad Pro. I used this for graduate school, class, notes with the clients that I was working with, and for the video editing that I was doing here on the channel. So then I upgraded to a 2021 M1 MacBook Pro. It was amazing up until I got the M4 Mac Mini. And I saw that exporting videos faster than the super expensive device was. And like you guys are going to see on your screen, this tiny little box of an M4 Mac Mini out-exported my $2,400 M1 MacBook Pro. This thing is a freaking cheat code apparently. So I actually have my M4 MacBook Pro down that way. My reason for bringing all of that up though is not to flex that I have all these devices, but it's to give you guys context what I'm looking for on a day-to-day basis out of the tech that I'm using. I really don't care what ecosystem or what brand it comes from. As long as it works for me, it works for me. But all in all, I think that 3 months later, there's still a lot to really enjoy about the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra. So today I'm gonna walk you guys through the ins and outs, the ups and downs, and the ways that this is not quite perfect, right? Because no piece of tech really is. But in a lot of ways, how I think this absolutely, for like 90% of you guys watching this video right now, is going to be an amazing complementary piece of tech for you on a day-to-day basis. So if you guys are new here, my name is Dave, and this is where tech meets lifestyle. Now, battery life on this thing has honestly been just as good for me today as it was 3 months ago when I first cracked this open, was using it on a daily basis. It's not a device that I feel like I have to charge every single day, depending on your usage rate, or if you're browsing social media, taking notes, scrolling news articles, texting people, things like that. I found that you can definitely get like 2-3+ days worth of battery life out of this. The exceptions being, of course, if you're playing a lot of heavy games on this, if you're doing like video and photo editing, where you're doing a lot of mass exports and things like that. That's where I find the battery definitely takes more of a hit. But I imagine that for most people on a day-to-day basis, 3+ days worth of battery life out of it, assuming that you're not just like on this from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. I guess you could do that. It's definitely going to be enough for most people. And so battery life, from my perspective, I've definitely been happy with. AirDrop on the iPhone and the iPad and the MacBook are exceptional. And also, yes, you have the same option over here that works just as quickly and just as consistently on Android devices, but here, namely Galaxy devices. Here I have a 4K 60 FPS video. Basically, me and my buddies got into the Dragon Ball card game. So here's a pool. I'm going to send this over to the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Boom. I'm going to open this one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click, send it over to my Galaxy Tab. And boom, it's done. And then I can open it over here. So as you can see, AirDrop on the iPhone and that entire ecosystem is really good, but you do have that share option between Galaxy devices and it works just as quickly and just as effectively. So has this happened to you guys where you feel like you're on your phone in your bedroom, or you're on your PlayStation or your laptop, and you feel like the Wi-Fi signal from your router to the device that you're using is just not as strong as it should be? Like you're not getting full bars. Flat out, you just feel like you're not getting the gigabit speeds that you should be from your router that you're paying good money for. Well, this is where the Deco BE5000 whole home mesh Wi-Fi 7 system comes in. That's going to give you significantly improved range from your gigabit router across your home or your apartment. Now, the Deco BE5000 are the only Wi-Fi 7 mesh systems under $300, and it's the fastest, easiest way to future-proof your home with Wi-Fi 7 for all of your new devices. If you're wondering what the big deal about Wi-Fi 7 is, there are a ton of different improvements like faster speeds, better efficiency, lower latency, which is relevant for those of you working from home when it comes to like video meetings and video conferences, and also lower latency is just flat out better for your gaming as well online. You also get access to TP-Link's Home Shield, where you get robust security features that protect your network and connected devices from potential threats. And so if you've been looking for an answer for those annoying dead zones, this is your answer at a really affordable price, so you can enjoy a seamless internet experience whether you're working, streaming, or gaming. So I've linked in the description down below for you guys to have a seamless, consistent connection throughout your entire house. On the S9 Ultra, one of my biggest gripes with that was that the vibration motors inside of it just did not feel good for me personally, right? Basically, not to waste you guys' time, to make this as concise and summarized as possible, is that on the S9, the motor was like more up here as opposed to being more centralized. And so if you were holding it like this, the vibration was farther away from your hand, didn't feel great. If you were holding it like this, the vibration was like really kind of just happening on one side, which didn't feel good. Where on the S10, it feels more centralized. And so no matter what orientation that you're in, it just feels better. And that improvement in the motors and the placement of the motors is not something that Samsung really ever advertised. I guess it's one of those things where you don't want to acknowledge that it wasn't that great before, and you just kind of like under the hood sneak in an improvement. I don't know, flat out my experience with the Galaxy S10 Ultra, the vibration motor just feels more evenly balanced throughout the body. When you're getting the feedback, it just feels better in the hand than the S9 did. And man, the screen on this thing is absolutely superb. Basically, no matter what it is I'm doing, right? Whether I'm jotting down clinical notes for my clientele as a therapist, right? Either using the S Pen or typing it up, the screen is great for all of those things. Viewing media on this thing is absolutely amazing. The speakers, in my experience, were definitely a bit better on the S10 Ultra than on the S9 Ultra. Now what I found is that in video editing, you are getting faster export times out of the S10 Ultra over the S9 Ultra. Though as a whole, if you're looking to do really heavy, intensive video editing with like lots of effects, animations, transitions, and things like that, like your M3, M4 iPad Pros are going to be more capable of handling those things with like DaVinci Resolve and those softwares than the S10 Ultra. But if you are looking to do some video editing, Reels, or TikToks, and edit them on your S10 Ultra, that is absolutely more than capable of handling those things off of a phone or even off of a camera like 1080p. The media and gaming experience that you're getting visually and audio-wise is superb on the S10 Ultra as well. And even multitasking. Multitasking is something that not everyone uses, right? And on say for example on the iPad, right? Most people just need that like split in half orientation. And for another subset of people, the task manager kind of suffices because you have multiple windows that are kind of on screen at one time, but you never get like the full screen real estate because of the way that it kind of like bubbles out along the edges. And for a lot of people, that's going to suffice. But if you ask me personally, hands down, the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra's multitasking, the way that it handles multitasking is just second to none. Being able to support 3 windows at a time, having bubble windows on top of that, and then also being able to orient those windows in any way that you want, and they utilize the entire screen real estate on the S10 Ultra. Flat out, it's just better. But not everyone's going to want it that way, and so I can see people wanting an iPad, right, where it is in some instances just easier to like pick up, kind of like an iPhone, and just like use split screen that way. But for the money that you're paying for things like this, I would argue you want the one that has a more robust feature set for those times when you think you might need something like that, right? The screen real estate too, man, if you are doing something like editing pictures, right? So you're a photographer, you want a hub where you can transfer your pictures to and do like heavy photo editing. In my experience, the Galaxy S10 Ultra handles picture editing exceptionally well. And after long sessions with this, something I can say that I feel is a little bit underrated is how balanced in the hand this feels and how light it is, right? Where I can have this comfortably sitting on like, you know, sort of like that pinky rest orientation, or even just like this. And I can't say that my fingers have gotten tired over a longer usage sessions, right? Where sometimes I'm scrolling or editing pictures or like doing that multitasking stuff on this in tablet mode, writing notes and things like that. And this feels really good in the hand, even in instances where I'm holding it just one-handed. They've done a really great job balancing the weight across the entire frame and also how thin it is. Definitely a win there in terms of usability. And the S Pen. Don't waste you guys' time too much. This continues to be really awesome. I haven't done this recently, but like when I first got the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra, I did bring it into a session for a client just to kind of like, you know, test out how they felt about using this for digital signing. This felt smooth, easy to use. And again, being able to attach it to the back is definitely a huge plus. So in that way, looking at lifestyle implications, right, and how this can impact someone's work-life usage as well, definitely checks off the boxes. As it pertains to gaming, I don't want to waste you guys' time there either. Gaming on this thing is amazing. I'm able to dial up up maximum graphic settings, maximum frame rates, the maximum like textures, bloom, shadows, and all of those miscellaneous different effects that you can apply to different games depending on the game that you're playing, of course. And it just chews through all of the pixels, man. I personally haven't encountered a single time playing like Honkai Star Rail, Punishing Gray Raven, Endless Zone Zero, where this is like chugged or stuttered or the FPS drop. Also gaming, if you want it for that, hands down, you're absolutely covered. I think that's about everything. Flat out, the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra really just checks off all the boxes. The battery life's really great, handles gaming great, multitasking is second to none. The S Pen is awesome. They improved the haptics and the vibration experience on it. And really the only thing is if you're doing like really intensive, heavy video editing on something like a Sony a7 IV or like a professional grade camera, right? If you're doing like really heavy 422, 10-bit, 4K footage or beyond, where in my experience, I do think that the iPad handles like that more intensive video editing better. But if you're doing video editing like straight from your phone or maybe even a camera that isn't as intensive, right? Or you can even like dial things down to like a 1080p format. I prefer the S10 Ultra basically for everything else on a day-to-day basis. But I have to be impartial for you guys that are looking to spend your hard-earned money on something to sort of like fit your lifestyle, right? But hopefully this video could be helpful for you guys. I wish you a fantastic remainder of your day, afternoon, or night, depending on the time that you are watching this. As always, peace, love, adios, bye guys, and have a great day.